Welcome back to what Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the box tank, the SU-100Y. It's a Tier 6 Soviet premium tank destroyer. It's located on the south spawn of Prokhorovka encounter, and it's under the command of Mummy. Game underway. Well, Mummy's got a platoon mate in this game. It's Nemesis 23 and he's in the Type 64. And, well, it looks like Nemesis is headed over to the west side of the map as well. The box tank is armed with a 13cm naval gun, which is the B13S2, and is capable of doing 440 alpha with standard rounds, and with the premium rounds, which are here, they can do 510 alpha, but they only penetrate 171, so you're much better off with the standard rounds to earn profits, because they've got 196 pen but only 440. But if you want a bit of extra damage, then you use the premium rounds, but you have to trade it off with a little bit less penetration. It's one of the few tanks that actually that happens with. Now, the box tank is based on the T-100 heavy tank. It was devised during the Winter War with Finland. It was designed to actually neutralise fortifications, and originally it was proposed to have a 152mm gun, the M10, so it could destroy Dragon's Teeth, but they put the 152mm into the KV-2 instead, and therefore they didn't need to have any more vehicles with 13cm. So unfortunately there was only one box tank ever built, and it's now residing at the Russian Tank Museum at Kubinka. Now, that casement is actually quite vulnerable because, well, the armor on this tank, even though it's actually based on a heavy tank, is fairly, well, say it's uniform across the entire vehicle. It's about 60mm of armor all the way round. But that means that this tier 6, it is vulnerable to shots from the enemy. And that's why, technically speaking, a box tank should sit at the back and blast away at the enemy as a traditional tank destroyer would. Because if it tries to do it up close, it will be vulnerable and it will suffer. Because that box is a very big target. It also makes it a very high priority target for Arty. And, well, there are two Arty in this game. The enemy team's got a GW Panther and an M44, and if they catch sight of this box tank, you can be sure they will fire in this direction, because it's such a big priority target. Now, top speed's not particularly fast, it's only 35 kilometers an hour, but it is still fairly mobile, and it does traverse fairly quickly. I think he's just trying a blind shot. You have to be a bit careful with blind shots in this tank destroyer because it's only got 30 rounds to start with. So if you run out of rounds, you are going to be, well, unable to fulfill your mission. 2 in the cap at the moment, but we do have some tanks sitting on the hill, so they might be able to get a reset. Oh! VK2801-105 just went into the bowl. That little area E2 and F2. Nemesis 23 is actually doing a good job spotting the enemy tanks. He's running up and down the centre line. And, oh, he's found a Tiger 131 and a Strip 74. Mummy testing the water just to see if she can get a shot. Well, he can get a shot. No, he's testing the spotting bushes now. And we just lost our BK3002M. And we've still got 2 in the cap. And the tanks we had up on the hill are no longer up there. Oh, brilliant shot! He hit the Strip 74 and got 478 off him. And there's the Tiger 131. Oh, fantastic! He ammo-racked the Tiger 131 1,060 hit points off that one. And a demolition award. Trying to hit the T-3485M. He's gone into the cap. He's rocking backwards and forwards because he knows he's trying to make it difficult for people to shoot him. And he's succeeding. That shell went right over the top of his turret. And the AMX AC-46 dies. We've got two tanks coming towards us at the moment. There's a heavy tank number 6. And a nice pen there for 432, which is a low roll because he had the standard ammo. Can you get another shot? Oh, before he's killed. I know we've got 274. Oh, we've got a hit. 465, which is a high roll. And it looks like Nemesis 23 got a hit at the same time. And he picked up the rest. I thought for a second it was a fire, but no. It's a bit too much for a fire. Oh, he actually hit and killed the T-3485M with a blind shot. Just came back. He fired in the right direction. I think he was just blind firing the bushes, and it worked. And that's what he's doing again. Yeah, he not only reset the cap, but he got a blind kill on that T-3485, the one he fired at earlier. And now we're blocking the cap. Our T-3485M got in the other side. So he's stopping the count. We're still blind firing, trying to hit the enemy. Their box tank is up there as well. Just south of the cap. Well, these two guys here are actually kind of cramping our style at the moment, and Mummy's decided to move a little closer, get a better angle, and the enemy did start capping for a moment, but I think the T-3485M just got a reset, or it was the Nashorn. He got the KB3. He's still having a look for the spotting bush, trying to work out where the enemy spotter is. We're 2 up on the enemy at the moment, so we are doing well. Standard reload is 15.34. Mummy's got 12.99, so he's dropped the reload time by 2 seconds. And the Tiger 1's coming towards us. Nope. Nemesis 23 got a hit, but that was only a 75mm round. We need to get one of these 13cm rounds into him. He stopped. Oh, and we're being fired on, and he fires around and kills the Tiger 1 with a blind shot, but he needs to motor out of here now because enemy Arty will be after him. Yep, there we go. The moment you see a box tank, you hit them as hard as you can because they're so big. Makes it an easy kill. T-3485M gets tracked. Unfortunately, we've lost Nemesis 23. He got killed during that engagement. And now we've got a T-34 coming towards us. Not for long. And he's taken out of the game as well. So that's 4 kills now for Mummy. And there's only 3 enemies left. And one of them's a Strip 74. I think Mummy wants to go north and try and find the enemy Arty and get revenge on them. I think that's what the AMX AC-46 is doing. Well, somebody's in the cap. And the AC-46, what are you doing? I think he's trying to push Mummy towards the cap. Yeah, that was a bit of tactical manoeuvring, you might say. Not a very nice thing to do. If he wanted to get to the cap, all he had to do is slow down just a little. And Mummy would have gone ahead of him. Going after the Arty, whilst he could go to the cap area and get the reset. We don't know who's in the cap at the moment, but I think it is the Striv because he was near the cap last time. There he is. Okay, stop here and see if we can get around into him. He's having to blind fire again. No, that hits something. He's loading an HE round. Well, he had an HE round loaded to try and deal with the Arty. And, well, one of the Artys is over in that corner. We don't know which one, but we got fired on from that corner of the map, and the heavy tank number 6 on our team is going to get there before we do. It looks like the enemy knows where we are. Heavy tank's moving in. He'll probably spot him shortly. There he is. It's the M44. We snapshotted him, and unfortunately we don't get the hit kits. And they just found the GW Panther has just drowned himself. What a loser. And the M44's down, and that's a victory for Mummy. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tank again for Mummy in the SU-100Y, the box tank. He got to demolition experts. He blew the Tiger 131 apart, collected all of the hit points that he had remaining. He also got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He did get 4 exactly. A fire effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle. And yes, he did get a high caliber as well. He got 20% of the enemy hit pool, over 1,000 hit points of damage in total. And so it's the high scorer in that game. Let's have a look at team score and see where he is. Well, there he is, top of the table with 3,897 hit points. Easily the high caliber, because the next highest scorer, the Nashorn, only got 2,462. And the next one after that was the GW Panther on the enemy team, the loser who went and drowned himself. You don't drown yourself if you're Arty, you keep fighting to get more hit points off the enemy, because all those hit points mean prizes. Well, it means points, it means credits. So you stay alive and fight to the end, even if it's you're outnumbered, and do the best you can to fight the enemy off. And anyone who drowns their Arty is a real loser. They really are, and they shouldn't be playing the game. Should keep on fighting until the very end, even if you have to ram the enemy to get some hit points out of them. Anyway, he got 1,610 hit points and put him in 3rd place. If we look at the number of kills, we can see that Mummy got 4 kills out of that game. 2 kills went to the Nashorn, the heavy tank number 6, and the M44. And when it came to base XP, it's actually the T-3485M who did the best with 1,322. That's the guy who was sitting in the cap, keeping it blocked so they couldn't get a win. 1,317 went to Mummy, and 956 went to the Type 64 of Nemesis 23, his platoon mate. So he did do a fair bit of spotting in that game. Look at that, 2,477 hit points of spotting assist. So Mummy fired 22 rounds of ammunition, so he only had 8 rounds left at the end of the game. 10 direct hits on the enemy and 8 penetrations. Damage of 3,897 hit points, of which 2,859 were at more than 300 meters. So he did get some close range shots, especially that T-3485M who got rather close before he whacked him out of the game. 2 hits received from the enemy. Both penetrations, I'm afraid. The armor's not that great. And 2 hits by way of splash damage from the enemy Arty, who was definitely after him, especially when he saw him coming towards the M44. He fought his way off. Well, he did the right thing. He kept on fighting until the bitter end, and it worked, because obviously he did end up with some more hit points out of it. 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, 226 hit points of damage assistance, and he got 5 defense points by resetting the cap. And that was actually the shot on the T-3485 of the enemy team, the one that was dodging backwards and forwards. Well, he fired that blind shot in and got a direct hit and took him out of the game. 58,517 credits on a premium count, 26,333 from battle payments, 122,887 for the battle overall, and after repair and ammunition resupply, still took away a profit of 80,639 credits, even though we fired premium ammo. 1,317 XP times 4 for the first victory, 3,952 from battle missions payout, or personal missions payout I should say, 593 for this being a premium vehicle, and 296 for playing in the platoon. He took away a grand total of 12,745 experience points altogether. So the box tank, yes, it's a rather unusual beast. We have seen replays of this thing before. Look at the armor profile and you can see that, yes, it's kind of uniform on the armor. 60mm on the driver's area, 60mm on the upper plate, 60mm on the lower plate, but you're getting effectively 95 on the lower plate, about 86 on the upper, 84, 85. The box itself, the actual casement, is 60mm, but because it's flat, you're not really getting much of an improvement in effective armor, so it's fairly easy to pen for a tier 6 tank. I think the best thing you can say about the box tank is that it is capable of doing the sort of damage that a tier 8 would do at tier 6, and that's the selling point of it, because you can do so much damage and rack it up so quickly on a tier 6 vehicle. The arc of fire as well is another thing you've got to look at. If you look at there, I'm moving the arc. It's only 10 degrees, well, it's showing 11 degrees even there, but it's actually 10 degrees on either side. So you haven't got much arc to work with, 20 degrees in total. And the gun depression is only 5 degrees. That's a bit of a disappointment. Gun elevation is a little bit higher. That's 15 degrees, but it's only 5 degrees of gun depression. That's actually kind of because the casement is a little further back on the body of the tank. You can see it's a rather central casement, and when the gun actually goes down, the mantlet moves as well, and that kind of stops when it gets to the lowest arc at only 5 degrees. So ideally you want to find a place where you're not going to need a lot of gun depression to shoot from, a flattish place but plenty of cover, so because it's so big it's very easy to see. Anyway, let's have a look at the well, just have a quick look at the arm on the back before you go. 20mm on top on both the casement and the engine deck, so Artys can pen this thing if you land around directly on top of it. Let's have a quick look at the modules. Okay, well, there's the modules, and you can see the driver's sitting up front in the center. He's got the radio right next door to him. Behind him, he's got a big ammo rack and 2 fuel tanks either side of that. There's another 2 ammo racks either side of the loaders. There's 2 loaders. There's 2 gunners as well, actually, in this one. And the tank commander is sitting behind the gunner on the left-hand side. Both gunners have got viewports. And the loaders are taking the shells out of the ready racks, which are either side of the casement. We've got the engine at the back on its own. It's not sandwiched between 2 fuel tanks, and transmission behind that. So it is possible to get a fairly big explosion if you hit the rear of the casement, or if you put a shell between the tracks in the middle, you might hit the fuel tanks and set the thing alight. But if you fire at the back, all you're going to get is a damaged engine to slow it down. It's much more preferable to hit the rear of the box tank, the rear of the casement, because there's only 60mm to get through. It's not much of an effort, and of course you've got a fairly good chance of setting off that ammo rack, so that would actually make it go kaboom. So that's where the modules are on the box tank. So thanks to Mummy for sending in this replay of an ace tanker and a high caliber in the box tank. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.